If you wanted to be busy, real busy, for the next decade or so of your life, you'd start a car company. It's about the most competitive, complicated, and regulated business you can enter. And that's exactly what Henrik Fisker did, personally obsessed with design and America.
We started out with a clean sheet of paper and saying we have to do it different, otherwise we have no reason to succeed.
Fisker has designed some of the best-looking cars you've ever seen. The Aston Martin DB9, the BMW Z8, the initial design work on the Tesla Model S. But apparently he craved more room to breathe. So he started his own company, Fisker Automotive, and their first car, the Karma, began showing up in driveways in late 2011. Why take on full-spectrum auto manufacturing? Do you really need the headaches of investors, bankers, government regulation, government financing? Why take this on?
Well, I thought, why can't anybody make just a really cool, environmental friendly car? Why do they all have to look so dorky? Why do they have to be slow? So when I came up with this technology, I really felt the entire thing fits together with the environment, the powertrain, the design, everything being in an American car company, etc. So all this just fitted together.
Okay, that's the theory. This is the execution. A four-door coupe, rear-wheel drive, 400 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 6 seconds, but it's electric. The big mission this car has to accomplish is not getting down the road, but getting people to think indulgently about a green car.
This is a car which is sort of your personal luxury car, your personal transportation. And I think a lot of people, they realize they drive alone in these huge sedans or sports cars. Somehow in the future we have to move towards more environmental friendly cars. It's really about still being able to enjoy luxury, but do it in a responsible way, in a way when society looks at you, they go, you know, wow, this is really cool.
The Karma is electric, but when the batteries are done, you aren't. It's what's known as a range extender.
I believe this is the first car that is truly designed for how we really drive today, or we meaning a lot of people. And it charges overnight. You don't need any special charger. And next morning when you wake up, you got about 40 to 50 miles. You can drive in pure electric. You can go on the freeway. You go to work, you come home, you plug it in, and an entire week you wouldn't use a drop of gasoline. Now, if you decide to jump in the car and go on a 1,000 miles trip to wherever on vacation, then the gasoline engine, a small four-cylinder gasoline engine, turns a generator and creates electricity while you drive.
Let's talk about some of the emphasis you're putting on design.
I believe that the emotional connection really comes through the design, and I think we have, in the last sort of 20, 30 years, lacked sort of that emotional connection. If you don't begin here with design, if you begin here, which many car companies do begin here, you're building bricks. And in the end, the designer is told just to make the outline. And then you get an awkward-looking car. And we try to incorporate, you know, really what I feel is some fundamentals when you look back in what was it that made us fall in love with the cars in the first place. It's beautiful sculpture. You see the nice sculptured haunches over the rear wheels, the front wheels, the long hood.
I don't think I've met anyone who didn't say wow when they saw Fisker's design. The man knows how to draw a car. But when you're north of 6 figures, cars sell as much on what they say as what they do. So beyond the powertrain, there's recycled wood inside, paint with recycled crushed glass instead of metal flakes, and let's not forget the solar panel roof.
People have tried to come up with solar roofs before, but it never looked good. So we actually decided, let's design the most awesome solar roof in the world.
This entire panel is a solar collector.
Yeah, it's one big panel, and it actually is laminated glass just like you would have on a sunroof. If you actually take these solar cells and bend them, they break. So the illusion is that this is curved in 2 directions, and it's done by 2 pieces of glass with a gel between, and each of these solar cells actually float in that gel to make the illusion.
Allowing this to happen without damaging the cell.
Exactly.
The Karma has hit a few potholes dead on. There was an early recall, a couple of fires, and Consumer Reports had one die on them. But Fisker remains focused farther out on the horizon.
If you think about it, how many times do you get to take part of creating a new car company? Not very often. So everybody here, I think, is very inspired. They're very excited about changing an industry that most people, quite frankly, think is impossible to change.
Okay, to my mind, here's what I'm watching after this discussion with Henrik Fisker. First of all, how does this car fare against not other electric or electrified cars, but traditionally fueled cars that are also luxurious and high performance? I think right now the competition isn't Tesla or others. It's still BMW and Mercedes and Maserati. Secondly, these kinds of car companies don't get made or broken on their first car. It's their second car where the judgment really happens. So stay tuned.